Imagine waking up one morning to find your hard-earned savings completely frozen. No overdraft, no fraud, no mistake on your part. Just a cold, heartless institution deciding you don't deserve access to your own funds. That's exactly what happened to me. And the cruel irony, I had trusted this small, local credit union because they promised to treat me like family. They promised to be different from the big greedy banks. I thought I was choosing safety and respect. Instead, I ended up in one of the most humiliating, frustrating situations of my life. But what the credit union didn't know was that I had a secret weapon, one that cost me only $3, but unleashed absolute chaos on their carefully polished reputation. The story started innocently enough. My old bank had started charging ridiculous monthly fees, and I was fed up. Everyone told me that credit unions were the way to go, community-driven, nonprofit, more personal service. Their odds were all about trust, kindness, and neighbors helping neighbors. It sounded perfect. When I walked into the branch for the first time, the lobby was small, almost cozy. A few fake plants in the corner, some cheesy posters about building financial futures, and clerks who looked like they had been there for decades. At first, I felt relieved. Big banks always made me feel like a number in a machine. But here, I thought maybe I'd matter. Maybe I'd finally found a place that wouldn't screw me over. That illusion didn't last long. The first problem cropped up when I tried to withdraw money from an ATM. My card didn't work. No big deal, I thought. Machines glitch all the time. So I walked inside and explained what happened. The clerk behind the counter, this middle-aged man with a smug little half-smile permanently plastered on his face, told me I could use a code to bypass the card reader. He tapped it into the system and said, "There you go, just punch this number in and it'll pull the money straight from your account." His tone was dismissive, like I was bothering him with something trivial. I brushed it off, thankful I at least had access to my cash. But a few days later, everything went sideways. I logged in to check my balance, and instead of numbers, I saw a big red notice, account under review, funds temporarily frozen. My heart sank. I called the support line immediately, expecting a simple explanation. Instead, I got a runaround. They claimed their system had delayed deducting a transaction, and my account had been flagged for safety. I wasn't in overdraft. I wasn't bouncing checks. There was no fraud, just their system making a minor mistake. Yet they decided the best solution was to lock up my entire account. Try to picture that feeling. Standing there, bills piling up, groceries to buy, knowing your paycheck is sitting right there, but you can't touch a single penny of it. It was like someone pressed pause on my life without asking. I felt trapped, helpless. And the worst part? Every single person I spoke to at that credit union made me feel like it was my fault. The first representative I called actually audibly sighed before saying, "Well, maybe you should have chosen a better bank if you don't like the rules." I was stunned. That wasn't just unhelpful. It was deliberately cruel. Another agent hinted that my foreign-sounding last name was the reason for the delays. I could hear the suspicion dripping from her voice. Sometimes accounts like yours require extra review, accounts like mine. Meaning, what exactly? That I wasn't American enough for them? That I was automatically suspicious because my last name didn't fit neatly on their roster of regular customers? The sting of that comment burned hotter than anything else. 1 week passed, then 2, then 4. More than a month of being locked out of my own money. Every phone call ended with excuses, attitude, or outright hostility. Each night, I lay awake, my chest tight with anger and panic. The humiliation of explaining to friends why I couldn't go out. The embarrassment of calling my landlord to say rent would be late. All because this so-called family-friendly credit union had decided I wasn't worthy of access to my own funds. Finally, one evening, After yet another infuriating phone call, I broke down. I called my family back home just to vent. My younger cousin, who has always been a little too clever for his own good, listened quietly as I ranted. When I finally paused to catch my breath, he said, "Why don't you fight fire with fire? You're not powerless. You just don't know where to strike." I laughed bitterly. What am I supposed to do? Sue them? March into their lobby with a megaphone? No, he said. Smarter. There are services for this. You just need to think outside the box. That's when he told me about it, this bizarre little website that pays people a few Russian rubles every time they post something on social media for you. In other words, you write what you want said, and an army of people will plaster it everywhere. For reference, 1 ruble is worth about a cent. That meant I could generate hundreds of posts for just a couple of bucks. At first, I thought it was a joke. Surely this wasn't real. But curiosity got the better of me, and I pulled the site up on my laptop. It was real, very real, and terrifyingly efficient. You could even choose the type of accounts: American looking, international, professional, casual, whatever tone you wanted. They had people ready to copy and paste it all over the internet.
For a while, I hesitated. Did I really want to stoop to this? Was I about to weaponize strangers on the internet just because a credit union treated me like dirt? The answer crystallized the next morning when I called again, desperate for some sign that my account would be unlocked soon. The support agent on the line actually laughed. "Sir, if you're this impatient," she said, "maybe you don't belong here." Something inside me snapped. That night, I pulled out my wallet and loaded $3 into the Russian service. $3. Less than a Starbucks latte. Less than a cheap fast food meal. And yet, those $3 were about to buy me the most satisfying revenge of my life. I carefully crafted a message. Nothing slanderous, nothing false. Just the truth sharpened like a blade. This credit union freezes accounts without reason. Customers are left for weeks without access to their own money. Discrimination and disrespect are tolerated by staff. Warning: avoid this bank if you value your finances and dignity. Then I pressed submit. What happened next was like watching a storm roll in. At first, a few scattered posts appeared on the credit union's Facebook page. Then their Twitter feed lit up. Instagram comments piled on. LinkedIn posts turned sour. Within hours, there were hundreds of voices, all echoing my carefully chosen words. This bank locks accounts for no reason. Discrimination is alive and well here. Don't trust this credit union. I sat back stunned as I watched the chaos unfold in real time. The same people who had mocked me, dismissed me, treated me like a nuisance, were now being buried under an avalanche of digital outrage. Their customer service pages were drowning. Their shiny image of community trust was collapsing under the weight of hundreds of angry complaints. And here's the kicker. They had no way of linking it back to me. By the end of the day, and I mean literally that same day, my phone rang. Not the faceless support line. Not some smug clerk. This was the call center manager himself. His voice was tight, cautious, almost trembling with forced politeness. "Sir," he said, "we understand your frustration. We'd like to resolve this immediately. Even if you'd prefer to close your account, we're prepared to transfer your full balance, plus $50 compensation, to any bank of your choosing." $50. A token gesture, maybe. But the sound of desperation in his voice was worth more than gold. The arrogance, the cruelty, the dismissive laughter, all of it had vanished. In its place was fear, panic, humility. They had finally realized they'd messed. With the wrong customer, I didn't gloat. I didn't yell. I just smiled to myself and calmly gave them the details of my new bank. And just like that, my money was free. Problem solved. The posts kept coming. Day after day, wave after wave. The credit union had disrespected me, and now they had a wildfire on their hands that couldn't be put out. That call from the manager was the sweetest moment of all. Imagine going from begging for access to your own money to hearing the very people who mocked you grovel for forgiveness. My revenge wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, efficient, devastatingly effective. And it only cost me $3. In the end, this wasn't just about money. It was about justice. about proving that even small voices, when amplified, can shake giants. Sometimes the best revenge doesn't require thousands of dollars, years of planning, or court battles. Sometimes it just takes $3, a little creativity, and the will to say, enough is enough. So if you've ever been disrespected by a company that thought you were powerless, remember this story. Because even the smallest spark, if placed just right, can burn down an entire forest. And if this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the worst experience you've ever had with a bank or company? Don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories of sweet, sweet revenge.